Alright, welcome to Storm in the West 44. So, I have a replay of Helix and Panzeh. Helix playing 43rd Wessex, Panzeh playing 101st Airborne versus Minnus, who is playing Festung Gross Paris, and MrCrisps, the creator of the mod, who is playing 1st SS Panzer. Festung Gross Paris and 101st Airborne both have increased starting income, but low or no phase A income, so expect more units from them. So let's see what we've got here. We've got some infantry. Looks like infantry going to go up the middle here. Infantry kind of everywhere. This is Odon River, so expect a lot of infantry action. A lot of infantry, so even a BMW. So he's bringing an AA gun there. Crisps is bringing some Panzer Shrek teams, some of SS Panzer Grenadiers, or perhaps SS, possibly SS Sturm Pioneers, don't know. And let's see, we see here Churchill 5 howitzer Churchill with shorter range but a heat round, not very accurate but good in HE. 6-pounder, some infantry, commander, a 2-inch carrier. Let's see, field engineers, some airborne rifles going up the middle as well, alongside mortars. Airborne. Let's see what else is coming here. Anyway, 43rd Wessex is the replacement for 15th Scots. It has Churchill support for British infantry. It has Shermans late in the game, but mostly Churchill's in support of the infantry, which comes in various universal carriers, pretty similar to the old Scots division. So we have no tanks coming out for the start. Just an 88 here. Panzer Grenadiers, Pack 38. This is an interesting start by the 1st SS Panzer player, MrCrisps here. Not sure what his plan is here, but we'll see soon enough. And we see here more infantry, a couple of AT guns. This will be interesting. So, big difference also, a couple big differences. Festung Gross Paris has fairly similar kind of spread of assets to the original, heavy tanks, medium tanks, like just about everything. But it has a lot of infantry available to it, though it's not quite as good. The 101st has no heavy assets, even in Phase C. The heaviest tank they get is a Stuart, but they get big bonuses in income every phase. They get plenty of good planes and of course the elite infantry and anti-tank guns that you would expect from American Airborne. Alright, so the game has started. We see an AVRE here coming up, probably going to come up the middle here. Recon, normal infantry, fairly standard stuff. Airborne is bringing a slight AT gun toward the middle as well. Large columns going to the city from both sides here. Let's see what happens. Lots of AT guns from the Festung player. Probably not that useful against 101st Airborne, especially in the mod. Recon motorcycles, it's not something you see every day. first action on the map is we're going to see smoke in the city here. Fairly standard, but it may not work as well as we might hope. See what happens here. In the top part, we see standard deployments, kind of fairly cautious. Pack 38 may have been unloaded a bit too early, also in a place where it just can't see much. He might be waiting to get some special ammo. Here's the flak M36. It has an AP round now. He just fires away with his off-map bombardment from the recon bike. This is a one-shot perf, but they're 100 points a bike, and he's going to get everything he can out of it. Might do some damage here. See over here, we got the 88 shooting at the 6-pounder. Likely the 88's going to destroy it. A lot of SS troops deployed everywhere. Surprisingly, no tanks from the 1st SS Panzer Division in Phase A. This is really weird. Okay. See here, a lot of anti-tank assets on the edge with a mortar in support. Oh yeah, the artillery is hammering these airborne rifles. Follows up, yep, he follows up with an attack by the ROA. These guys are almost all pinned. No, one of the ROA gets pinned, but these airborne troops are going to get pushed back. And 88 gets knocked out by this Thunderbolt. Knocked out by rockets from a Thunderbolt. In this mod, air weapons are quite powerful, and yes, one can knock out an 88. Probably putting those 1,000 points, 1,100 starting points to use and helping a teammate. Well, that's me, so yeah, I can tell you straight up that I did. And you see the purchase of light AA in support here to further protect himself. And minnus is getting a good push in the city with his troops here. Another artillery support bike coming in soon. But the mortars are doing a pretty good job of staving off this attack here. And then the engineers, they just do their thing. Not coming in to finish the job. Got the KM Fuhrer here, but the KM Fuhrer is in some trouble too. Oh man, he got into flamethrower range. That's a bad idea, bad idea. Okay, let's go up here. Not much happening. Very slow development of the game right now. More AT guns being brought, more anti-tank assets. This is generally, I would say, playing to Helix's advantage here. The Wessex player able to build up more of a force. Another bombardment from the off map to support attack coming in. With Luftwaffe Jaegers. Generally weak troops in this mod, but with that kind of support, they'll get it done. And we got a croc coming in. It's going to be a while, but once it gets there. See the croc's wonderful road speed in this mod, not very much. That's pretty realistic for the Churchill. Alright, so firefight here. You see Bren groups actually used for their firepower. In this mod, Brens are quite a bit better than they are in vanilla. And an APRE finally comes up, probably going to be able to murder this squad. And you see some long-range firefight now. He has control in the central area of the city for now, but does not have much else. Middle is the middle is slow going. These SS troops do not surrender, so they will never stop shooting, even if they're totally dead. Is that in range? Nope, not in range of the spigot gun. We'll have to advance that aviary up to get the spigot gun in there. Let's see. 2-inch mortar trying to get rid of that 221. Finally gets a pack 38 there, but the crocodile's coming. The crocodile is certainly on its way. Keep in mind that Phase B will be coming at a different time for the Festoon Grosse Paris. Phase B comes at 16 minutes, whereas for everybody else here it's going to come for 12 minutes. So that Phase B timer is, I believe that Phase B timer is for, yeah, no, that's for most of the divisions here. You see the field engineer is going to come in to try to get rid of these Panzer Grenadiers here. It's going to be a tough fight. Very deadly. And he gets rid of the SS troops. We see here, get rid of that AA gun. Some skirmishing in the city. AVR providing support for these rifles advance here. And we have finally the first combat vehicle that Crisps has gotten to this game, the 259 here. I'm not sure that's going to help too much, but Crisps is probably short on money right now. So we see some Hotchkiss tanks coming up from minnus here to probably try to stave off this situation. 50 cal doing some real work shooting into town here. That's probably just that church tower. Church tower can see out everywhere, but can be seen from anywhere. Okay, mortars just... this guy got bailed out. I don't know what from. Probably a pack 38 with its special ammo. Yep, it's fired at special ammo to knock out this tank. And special ammo is significantly better than the normal ammo in the pack 38. So you want to get it within 800 meters to knock out Churchills. Especially the early. You cannot knock this out from the front no matter what, but this guy takes a while to get in there. Trying to probably smoke to get these engineers in there. Got airborne troops in here. Yeah, the AA guns are pretty deadly. Right there, they're doing a number on that friend group. Some artillery to probably knock that thing out. And there goes the mortar. Rockets, as I said, extremely deadly. You do not want to mess around with them. Knocking out the A gun to let the others advance. But AVRE, once it gets in, will be able to probably murder that squad. We we're seeing some howitzers or perhaps IG-18s coming in. Another 259 for probably to help against all this infantry coming up. Yeah, that aviary is going to be a real problem in the middle if he doesn't buy a tank or something to deal with it. The aviary in the mod is an aviary from a Churchill Mark IV, which has significantly less front armor, only 8, can be knocked out by virtually any German tank. And so we see Chris bringing in a couple squads here to try to deal with this position. It is somewhat vulnerable if you can make a push here. And we see the power of SS infantry. Yeah, they're totally suppressed, but they don't stop. However, this should change things. And gone. That's the aviary for you. So these tanks and this infantry here are doing a good job of keeping the airborne player from keeping me from taking the town. IG-18's coming up, and he's starting to attack with these Panzer Vernichtungen, a pretty strong squad with a lot of semi-auto rifles, actually. Trying to support him with this Pak 36's HE. Not sure how that's going to go. Probably not too well. A lot of HE firing from this Pak 38, and his line is quite weak up here. Another Churchill 5 coming up. Blob of H-39s is doing a pretty good job so far of keeping things in check, but might not stay that way for long if the planes come back. Using the IG-18, probably the IG-18's indirect fire. They do have that capability in the mod. Not terribly powerful, but useful nonetheless. Pak 38 struggling to deal with that Churchill 5. So far the game stays pretty stable, and it's phase B for most of the divisions except for Festung Gross Paris. Phase B bonus for me, I use that to get a Stuart and get a few other things. And I'm bringing in naval gunfire to clean the town out. Meanwhile, you see unfortunately that aviary is proving to be a real problem. So this Panzer IV is finally coming up. There is a Panzer IV available to this division in Phase A, by the way. It did not get bought. So this Panzer IV should be able to deal with the aviary and hopefully staunch that particular attack. Trying to use the 82s to knock out these IG-18s, whereas this whole town is pretty well pinned down from a lot of fire from distance. Bringing in some glider rifles to hold this attack back, and we see a Churchill Mark IV coming in. It's pretty well armed for an Allied tank with the 6-pounder. Not much HE power, but it does have some armor. It's kind of slow though. That's the, as I said before, that's the way of the Churchill. Always slow. Yep. Aviary gets knocked out by the Panzer IV, no problem. And that Panzer IV is going to prove to be a problem if it's not taken care of. And the naval gunfire are going to shell the city and hopefully knock it out while the Stuart fights these 39 H's. Stuart should win that battle, but the support from this, yeah, this 36, Pack 36T is actually proving to be a problem. Got a 25 pounder coming up to knock out some of these anti-aircraft weapons. And the rockets come in, do not kill the Panzer IV. Rockets have a decent chance to, and they get knocked down by all the AA. So the AA does knock out a plane. It's a little bit more effective in this, in the mod than in vanilla. Although, so here come the rockets to try to stop this attack in the middle. This Churchill Crocodile is going to be a problem. No heavy tanks out yet, just SS Martyr. Not a bad choice, but he needs to get the Martyr in closer to deal with that Crocodile. And yeah, after that naval gunfire hit, basically destroyed almost everything in the city. Got the Bavarungs. Bavarungs are good. They have a buff to their own stats. They just they cause problems for other units around them. They actually have a debuff aura. And AV rifles might have trouble with these tracks because, unlike in vanilla, AV rifles do not come with bazookas. The squad historically did not have bazookas in it natively. Only armored rifles actually had that capability. And you see, trying to knock out that Pack 38. Minnus coming in with another off-map bombardment from the Karl Garat. Oh, he does pull it off from the Karl Garat, so. Oh, see this happen. Stuart knocks out the hauler, and glider rifles should be able to hold off these Panzer Shrek teams. Crocodile taking some serious damage here. I don't know what it's from, but not very many heavy tanks for Phase B when he has quite a bit of money. And the Karl Garat hit the middle of the town here, blowing up the Stuart, and not much else, actually. Not as huge AoE as in vanilla. But it did put a nice big black spot in town. Helix is going to shoot down the Karl Garat plane. And these are just the hand grenades. Said AV rifles, no innate defense against vehicles themselves, so they'll have to have some help. But this Churchill 4 might prove to be just that help, and as might these 37mm guns. Push, pretty good push, gonna come in the middle probably with the weakness of the line there. And we're finally in Minnus's Phase B, so we see a big column of infantry coming up. Doing some good close-in support. Crocodile still pretty good here. The Churchill 5 has made good use of his heat rounds. Now this line in the middle is very flimsy. Not very much infantry left, and the line that appears also flimsy. Finally, we see a Panther. That Panther might turn the tide, but there's going to need to be some more infantry to come up and help fight this off. So far, Helix has gotten the better of this infantry engagement, and slowly the purchases of lots of artillery and anti-aircraft guns are not paying off as much. Crocodile uses flamethrower. Large infantry attack coming. It's a lot of squads. And trying to pin them so that the rifles can assault this position. And this attack is being overwhelmed by reinforcements. Glider leader is another. Alongside some other units here. Yeah, this side is not doing so well for the Axis. A strong push will get rid of this. There aren't very many actual defensive units left here. This Pack 40 might be a problem. If he can be patient and use the special ammo, he can knock out the Crocodile. So the game is slowed down a little bit here. Another Stuart coming up in this side. Okay, we see a large attack from Landeshutsen, which have a machine gun, by the way, unlike their vanilla counterparts. So they're going to assault the town using their numbers in a human wave assault. So far, not doing so well, but counterattack going here, which should knock both of these units out pretty quickly. These guys get pinned down pretty quickly. This icon, by the way, is poor training, not necessarily disheartened. They have worse combat stats, but they do not take extra stress. This is not going well for the Axis players right now at 56%, not getting too far from +2 territory here. Good shot by the artillery knocks this squad out, but his line is not very steady right now. Landeshutsen having a lot of trouble here. More Churchill Mark IVs coming up here. See the 37mm trying to engage. Won't do much from the front of that Panzer IV. But, that's a side shot, actually. Could do something. Yeah, you'll notice the small caliber AT guns are significantly worse in this mod than they are in vanilla. In vanilla, the light guns were modeled for their penetration at point blank, so they are significantly overmodeled. Thunderbolt coming in to drop a bomb. Will it hit? Yes, it pretty much devastates that attack. That's why you do not blob up. And we see Storm Grenadiers firing in full auto, doing a lot of damage here. Except for the fact that they're up against 2 Brent groups and a motor rifle leader with the Brent. So they got 5 Brent shooting. SS, they'll keep shooting, but was this in range to use the full auto feature? Probably. The MP44 in this game has 2 separate ranges, one for full auto, one for semi. And this looks like full auto, so it's getting the full effect. Okay, we see the side is wide open now. Chris gets a Nebelwerfer for this side, probably to try to take out the city. Would have needed that a little bit sooner, though. Churchill here gonna fight the Panzer IV. A good match for a Panzer IV, actually. And we see Typhoon here gonna shoot at the Panther. Sends it falling back. 17 pounder might come in and finish it, or this crocodile might. That's what happens when you bring your Panther a little too far forward. You need to lead with the infantry. So yeah, we see the Churchill 4 engaging the Panzer IV with its 6 pounder. That's a really important crit, knocks out the elite Panzer IV. Does not kill it though. Does not kill it. Panzer IV misses. Pretty important battle here. And the Panzer IV manages to knock out that Churchill 4. Heat round trying to kill the Panzer IV. Not very accurate, but we'll give it a try. If he hits, he'll kill the Panzer IV. Still does a lot of suppression too. A couple Stern Pioneer sections coming up. In close combat, these guys are absolute murder. The SS tag means they do not surrender, so they will keep shooting. And knocked out by the Churchill 5. Pretty lucky shot. And the Panther comes back for more after another rocket attack. It's probably will not survive any more HE shooting at it. It's pretty dark right now. Things are looking pretty bleak for the Axis player. We have 88 and the French 75 gun here, setting up for a defensive line on this side here. And 101st is getting more infantry into the city, ready to attack, to continue the attack. Transmission damaged on the Panther, renders it extremely slow, and it gets knocked out by a 6 pounder from the side. More AA assets coming up to deal with these airstrikes that have been harassing them. Churchill 5 doing work. Stern Pioneers just absolutely murder that squad, no question asked. I think the Stuart got its weapons jammed by that 88 gun, or possibly the Pack 38 there. A lot of AA guns firing into town now. Some artillery coming up. And he is setting up probably for another assault on the city. Churchill trudging through. That Pack 40 could kill that Churchill 5 if it hits. And 21 of the MG carriers shooting at each other. Churchill Mark IV coming up, or Mark VI coming up. The Mark VI being the cheapest of the Allied medium tanks. It's at 95 points. Very slow. It's not much different from the Sherman aside from being slow and not having a 50 cal. Firefly coming up. Not very many heavy tanks left. That Panther, after that Panther died. The line has reconstituted itself about past the 50% line though. The 50% line being about here. And so now both sides on this side will fling artillery at each other. Bavaroungs next to each other, not a good idea. Don't put your Penal Legion next to each other. they hurt morale of nearby guys. And that's a bombing run. Just knocks out a bike. Didn't get the gun. I think I was looking to kill that flat gun and not the bike. And artillery doing some work on both sides here. Alright, so in Naval Warfare 41, you're going to try to hit the city and knock it out. Kills one squad. I believe that is the engineer squad. Could be a glider rifle team. And then, yeah, here comes the attack. Should have been closer to follow that up. Should have been closer if you're going to do that. Alright, a lot of AA now. There's a lot of AA here. But not much to prevent this attack from happening. Surprisingly, non-aggressive play by Helix there. He pretty much can move forward now. But he's waiting for more stuff, and that's okay. Yeah, Navy rifles doing a number on these Stern Pioneers, but they do not fall back. You see the howitzer war developing here. These howitzers aren't very good, but they'll do their part. The grill also capable of indirect fire, but very powerful at it. A favorite of this player, actually. Always loves the grills. These howitzers are also pretty good. See the Storm Grenadiers firing in semi-auto. It's kind of cool. They fire in semi-auto at long range, and then they switch to full auto when they're within 175 meters. They used to fire in full auto at all ranges, which made them kind of broken. Let's see. Yep. Howitzer wars. Counter battery, trying to counter battery these. And then here comes the attack, but nobody's pinned anymore, and the glider leaders are supporting the AV rifles here. And the 50s are just laying down fire. These troops are not very good troops, and they're going to have trouble beating the elite infantry like AV rifles anyway. Oh, by the way, if you look at all these stars, just FYI, stars in this mod are morale, not anything else. They only affect morale. Veterancy is given by and eliteness is given by these tags. SS troops have accuracy and fire rate bonuses, and for the infantry, they do not get pinned. SS crews just give a fire and accuracy rate bonus. So, just like elite crews from the Wehrmacht. This airborne tag gives them, Allied airborne gives accuracy, rate of fire, movement speed, and also additional stealth. So we see Minnus bringing in his SS Panzer Grenadiers, which he does get in Phase B, so we'll see what they can do. SS troops, always pretty good. Thunderbolt knocking out one of those AA gun tracks. Storm Grenadiers doing work here. It's the field engineers. They are in their effective range. Yep, here comes the weight of numbers basically coming in to put away the small Axis presence in the middle of the map here. This is a very precarious position itself here. There's nothing behind it. Crisps has a Tiger here, but I don't know if this Tiger will make much of a difference at this point. Firing ineffectively at the front, gets knocked out by a shell. And then here comes the major attack in the middle. All the while Minnus tries to attack on this side. He's gonna have some pretty good squads come in with ground support. Really trying to hammer this artillery position here. It's one of the advantages of having an artillery park is that it tends to draw fire away from where he needs to be firing. And here come bombers to try to deal with that Tiger. Shape, but he survives the attack. For tank busting, you probably want rockets. Bombs are more for AoE kind of killing infantry. And yeah, this middle is not in a good way. We see a Panzer IV coming up, but I don't know if that's going to stop it. And then the Tiger gets knocked out by a Firefly after being stunned. And yeah, this Crisp position has pretty much collapsed. But this is still a challenge here. This side, lots of troops. You have trying to send in Panzer Is to support the attack, but these Panzer Is are no match for the M8 Greyhounds or Stuarts, especially the ones that are coming up here. Trying to carry the attack home with the conscripts, and they've broken past the first line of city defense. But the Greyhounds are doing a number on the Panzer Is. Yeah, the infantry in the middle are just pushing forward. There's not much stopping them. You can see the superiority of the Panzer IV to 75mm armed vehicles. This Churchill 4.6 is no match for the Panzer IV, but with numbers and with some luck, it survives that battle. And here's a large number of vehicles, but they get stunned by the artillery, including the grill. Some backup forces to try to stop this attack. Sending in a Hurricane to deal with the Panzer IV, and yeah, does a number on it. There's not much in front here. And you kind of see the difference here with the mechanized assets that 43rd Wessex has, but the 101st does not come into play here. That I really can't break through into this backfield because all I have is infantry. And I have a few tanks, but they're not particularly heavy. And And so yeah, the Phase C you can get glider rifles and GMC HMGs, and the Boomerang are no match for the bunch of firepower bearing out on them. Fire on the Panzer IV, and probably gonna use it. Yep, tank battle against multiple enemies at closer range. And yep, there goes the 222. But the plane gets knocked down by an 88. Yeah, this attack is coming along pretty well, but they got into the town, but now it's struggling, and yeah, they all get pinned and surrender without leadership. SS troops are doing a number on them, though, and these AT guns and such are knocking out the GMC trucks. The Stummel track and some more random vehicles. And Crisps is absolutely collapsing under the pressure. This is kind of what happens when you lose units and your opponent doesn't. A lot of bad trades lead to this, especially very odd play by Crisps here to avoid buying tanks with a division whose best aspect is tanks. And the weakness of SS troops is they cannot retreat. So. But this game is just about over, and I think the takeaway of this is you need to play to your division's strengths and not make bad trades. It's easier to buy infantry after you buy tanks than to do the opposite, and I think a well-placed Stug or Panzer IV in Phase A, both of which First SS has, could have made a big difference early in the game. For here, this was pretty evenly fought, but I think Minnus could have done more to help his teammate out. His cheap infantry would go well with these vehicles, and spreading the infantry out along the map with his increased Phase A, with his increased starting money, could have made a big difference in Crisps' ability to hold off this 43rd Wessex assault. But it was a good game. It was a very tough game on them. And we can see the power of effective play here. And anyway, this is basically the mod. I'm Panzeh, and as I said, I played in this game and won this game. But you can see Crocodile pretty much did its work. Churchill 5s. Anyway, I would say the takeaway is help your teammate, especially when you have a lot more starting money. This is an interesting situation because it featured two opposing divisions with a lot of starting income and not much to proceed with, and I like to think that I gave my partner a lot more help than Minnus gave his, and that probably made the difference. I had more troops in the middle. I provided air support, and although I did at one point kill my teammates' troops. Sorry I didn't show that in the replay, but I did kill a lot of his guys with a bombing run, but no hard feelings. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this cast, and I am signing off.